So, I have a movie idea, and it's a bit of a passion project, to be honest. It's a video game adaptation, up until recently. Video game adaptations don't go down too well, but some do, some are okay. You have the famous Mario movie and Resident Evil movies, but this is going back to Sega Genesis. We're going far, far back. Now, Sega are known for Sonic the Hedgehog being the most famous one, even Tetris, Streets of Rage. But the one that not a lot of people talk about is Comix Zone. Comix spelt with an X at the end, 1995. And I loved this game when I was young, and it strikes me as something that would work well now, with films coming out like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, comic book movies, like Sin City, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and even going back to A Nightmare on Elm Street 5 with a little comic scene. Now, the reason why I think it resonates so well and would be a great movie to produce and make, I will go into it. Firstly, talking about directors, Edgar Wright would be great to direct it, known for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and the Cornetto Trilogy, but focusing more on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and its style, uniquely comic book based style, or Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez, who made Sin City. The main character is called Sketch Turner. I'll go for the plot first, actually, before I talk about anything else. So, Comix Zone, the game's most remarkable feature is that it is set within the panels of a comic book. Each level consists of 2 pages, and secrets are discovered by shredding the paper and revealing items. The dialogue is rendered in bubbles, in typical comic font. Sketch Turner, a starving artist, a freelance rock musician, is working on his newest comic book, named The Comix Zone. Comix Zone is the story of the New World Empire's attempt to defend Earth from invasion of alien renegades, with inspiration coming from Sketch's oddly vivid dreams and nightmares. So we're talking a Sketch, who I would love to play Sketch. I'm torn between 2 actors, Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy, and Wyatt Russell, who is Kurt Russell's son. Wyatt Russell, I saw him in an episode of Black Mirror, and I thought he'd be perfect to play Sketch. He's got long blonde hair, he wears sunglasses, he wears fingerless gloves, typical 90s, he wears cargo shorts, proper denim jacket with a shirt underneath, and big boots. So, one night, while Sketch is working on Comix Zone during a storm, a massive lightning bolt strikes outside his apartment, somehow affecting the comic book too. In this instant, the main villain of Comix Zone, a powerful mutant named Mortis, manages to escape from the comic book's pages and hurl the stunned Sketch into the world of Comix Zone. Mortis intends to free himself by destroying Sketch in the comic book, as he is unable to do in reality. So, no one in mind for Mortis yet, but someone that came to mind for one of the villains, apart from Mortis, the villain you fight a couple of times. I got strong Fantastic Four vibes, so we could have someone like Michael Chiklis, who plays Ben Grimm, the Thing in Fantastic Four, or if we're going back to the Fantastic Four of most recent, Jamie Bell in the 2015 version of Fantastic Four. That's for the red beastly villain, who has a resemblance of, speaking of Sin City, I can see him being played by Mickey Rourke, or could be a Josh Brolin type person. One of the most interesting and topical parts is another character who is romantic interest. So inside the comic book, Sketch meets General Elisa, who believes he is a superhero, the Chosen One, which does bring up images of the Matrix with the Chosen One, but he's a superhero. So it's definitely got Matrix vibes with there, but focusing on Elisa, I'll show you a few images of her now. So I had 2 people in mind for Elisa. Zendaya from Spider-Man, who's hugely famous, right now appearing in Dune, The Greatest Showman. So she would be ideal for Elisa. Could see her donning those sunglasses and having her hair like that. And if we couldn't get Elisa, I think Dua Lipa would be... She hasn't got loads of lines in the movie, but she's integral. Again, Dua Lipa would bring the musical side. Her music fans would come over, and it would sell to a younger audience through her, because not a lot of young audiences know Comix Zone. But I mentioned The Matrix before, and I'm definitely getting Deadpool vibes as well from this film. And Deadpool, another hugely successful R-rated comic, because there's a lot of breaking the fourth wall Deadpool kind of one-liners and the humour of that. Oh, I must mention the rat as well. I can't believe I left the rat so late to mention. He has a pet rat, Roadkill, Sketch Turner's pet rat in the real world. Very cute. He helps out as well. He helps out with finding shortcuts and items. I mentioned the pet rat, which is a new unique selling point. Sorry, I must mention the creator as well. Comic Zone creator is Peter Maroi. What's hard to say? Marowak? It was Polish. He's got a Polish second name.
Morawiec.
So we'd have to get permission from him. Comic Zone's always been nostalgic for me. I do remember playing it. At this point in time, I must talk about the background and the settings, because it's another extraordinary style of the game is the location. It's very similar to Mortal Kombat. You know how the background is so interesting, especially in the second segment of the game with the Statue of Liberty's head, and going further down in the game, through the panels, through the comic book pages, you'll see all sorts of interesting locations. You get to see the writer's hand come up in the game as well. You have all these items, you're building into a superhero, the one-liners. Just essentially, this game adaptation of a film has got huge potential, and it's got different avenues where it can bring in the viewers and the audience, and I'd love to know your feelings about it, to be honest. It's great to get audience reception. Well, I look forward to reading the comments about this. Thank you for listening.